tough part is not the digital, it's the art in your question. So my understanding is that the role of the artist is to translate what he sees into a form that can be digested by other people. That's a kind of a social responsibility to do that. And the digital artist does that with digital media. Basically, he has that same job to do as singers or others. I think we have a responsibility to do a lot of research and to push the envelope so that the technology is closer and closer to the people and is more and more remove the interface between user and content. In fact, most of our work is outside of Canada. We're kind of 90% outside of Canada. And it's the case of many companies here. We have a concentration of creative talent, but our markets are around the world. Because of the upper ground, there's many companies that are known that do video like Ubisoft and all of that. Then you have the underground, the kids in the garage that invent the stuff. And we have middle ground in Montreal, which is places where you can combine your talent with the talent of others, like a MUTEC festival or many art collaboration projects funded by the city, groups that come together to explore creative spaces that are not upper ground, they're not middle ground, but they're this kind of fusion of ideas. And Montreal has a lot in hardcore kind of deep programming, deep learning. It has video. It has a long tradition of show business, a good cinema background, lots of universities, and big companies like Bell and people who do simulators for airplanes or giant video game companies. And the talent goes around. It changes company all the time. That's why I think Montreal is active. We've been doing interactive technology since 2002, and we've launched all the scenography applied to outside of theaters, in hotels, restaurants, bars, in the 2002 to 2005 or 7, many casinos and all of that. Then we shifted to another area which is more related to content, and other companies have come after us in this to explore those main markets. And now there's synergy between people is taking the digital art to the streets, to the museum, to transportation. We did trains and things like that. So digital art is going all over the place now. And we've been one of the players that have pushed this. Some projects that we do require the artistic talent there's two aspects to that. There's self-expression and there's communication to others. Some projects that are based on communication to others are mostly related to information-based projects like museums and things like that. And some are features that we do when the client says, do something. And those are more about expression. So, depends on which job we're doing, we need to be either more engineers or more artists or both. Depends on the project. I've started to do stuff like this in the 1972, and it's still moving. So I don't know which part we're in. I think if we can eliminate a bunch of gimmicks in our hands, the devices, and go to stuff that is more intuitive, that would be, I think, a nice plateau to be at. We're not there yet. There's still the goggles and all of that stuff that we have to deal with. But we're pushing to lose that. Gesture recognition, eye movement recognition, triggering with your behavior and not because you've touched something is where we're going now. A bit of what I answered before. Yeah. We do a lot of research. A third of company is involved in research all the time. So you need new code, new algorithms, you need new technology to think in new ways. This problem of human-machine interface. We've just done a metadata collection to light the bridge in Montreal. Now, the easy way is to do Twitter and you have a lamp going on, but we suggested a bit like the tower in a church where the bell rings at each hour and controls a little bit the notion of time of people in the fields around the village, or the reverse when there's somebody dying or a baby born or a wedding. The church will react to the life of people. We try to make the bridge do that. So people don't have to do anything special. They just have to be alive and have opinions, and it will affect the lighting of the bridge. So when I'm thinking removing interface, I'm thinking along those lines. No, I don't think that works anymore. And it's very hard to categorize studios or even major disciplines because architecture is involved in urbanism in a very new way. Agriculture is involved in the city in new ways. Shopping centers, they want entertainment. Transportation want user experience. Everybody is kind of mixing up the boundaries, and the artists do the same. I think so, yes. Because the curatorial aspect is different than painting and sculpture. Also, the preservation of the digital art is complicated because the formats are changing all the time, and you try to present digital art from the early 70s and half-inch videotape. Technology's changed, floppy disk and all of those things have changed. So if museums are going to preserve the evolution of digital art, an indication of the support and the methodology of preservation is hinting that it's in a category of its own. Things that work with electricity that were done 40 years ago, they still work. But things that are related to pixels, not obvious. I think copyrights are let's make a relationship with music. Copyrights in music and the music industry with revenue streams have been battered seriously in the last 2 decades. Trying to preserve copyrights on digital art it's in the same thing. People exchange documents on the web. They don't want to pay rights on a photo or video or that kind of thing when they exchange the information. The copyright issue is a legal one, and I think the legality of this form of culture is going to have to catch up to the practice of people. There's good practice, there's bad practice, but the practice of people is pushing the boundary of legal behind it, several decades behind it. So I don't dedicate a lot of juice on that aspect. I do put a lot of effort on the relevance and the meaning of what you do. And I think if you do things that are meaningful, people will remember that this song or that art piece is spoken. You don't need a copyright on that, because artists are in new territory all the time. If you've spoken truly about something, you leave a mark.